What's up, everyone? Welcome to Cracka Season 3, Episode 13. Lots to talk about today. I'm going to try to do my best to go through it, not make a really extremely long video, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, lots to talk about. Before we get into anything, I want to thank one of my newest subscribers, which I had written it down. Hang on, bear with me. There we go. I'm definitely going to get this one wrong, probably. I have to accept the fact that I'll never get anybody's name right. Spinola Serg, thanks for subscribing. And let's get into some other stuff here. Walking Dead, got a chance to watch that one from Sunday. Awesome episode. It just keeps getting better and better. Brought a little tear to my eye, but it was cool. The only thing I'm kind of worried about, which is going to sound weird, is it looks like it's getting ready to go corporate. And I was like, what do you mean? You look at it, you look at the first season, the first two seasons, mainly first season, they were very low budget, they didn't have, enough money, to have a lot of walkers, and stuff like that. Now, they have, a soundtrack, for the playing music and all that stuff, which is alright, but when they start doing that stuff, it kind of almost, slips away from what it originally was. Because now you got everyone loves The Walking Dead, celebrities, oh, it's the greatest thing, I can't wait to be on there and, be a walker, and, it just, I don't know, sometimes when it gets corporate like that, it kind of loses its thing, but we'll see. Another interesting thing, well, not interesting, but cool, I was going to do an unboxing for it, but I was way too excited, I figured I'd do it real quick, but, I'm kind of obsessed with these noggin things now. Thanks, Cali Collectibles. Bastard. I'm kidding. But Walgreens sells them, and there's a Walgreens that's near my house, and I had gone a couple weeks ago and grabbed the only 4 packs they had, which I showed, which is cool. I like them. And I went back yesterday to the Walgreens, see if they had any new ones, got any more in, and they were empty, and they actually removed the sticker from where it was, so I don't even know if they're going to carry them anymore, that particular Walgreens. And I had forgotten that there was actually a Walgreens near my fiance's mother house. We had to go there and talk to her about some stuff, which is, let's just say, sometimes I have the Parker luck, I guess, which if you're a Spider-Man fan, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we stopped at the Walgreens because I was busting my fiance's balls. I'm like, can we go there? Can we go? Like a little kid, can we go? She's like, oh, God. She's like, you just want to look for these noggin things, don't you? I'm like, oh, yeah. So I went in, and they didn't have any. I was like, oh, man. They still had the sticker, so, I have some hope. Maybe they'll get some in. But I was walking away, and out of the corner of my eye, which is sometimes, like I said, sometimes I have good luck from time to time, I saw on the bottom shelf, it was a Noggins bag hanging over. I'm like, oh, my God, It was like winning the lottery. I'm like, cool. So I grabbed it. I'm looking around to see if they had any more. They only had the one bag. But, I'd got it, and she's like, you happy? I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. Got in the car and immediately opened it because I was like, oh, I gotta see what I got. And I was very excited to get Beast, because I love Beast. And I was extremely lucky. I got the ultra rare see-through green Dr. Octopus. Very, very cool. So I was like, woohoo! I've only bought in 5 packs in my life so far, and I already got an ultra rare one and a rare one with Carnage. Very cool. What else was there? Oh, yes. The power of the people. It shows that it really does pay off to voice your opinion on things. I know you're like, what are you talking about? I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. After I talk about this stuff, of course, I have a review and something else I want to talk about. Venom Homer Lewis had asked me to show off my Silver Age and discuss them, which I had told him I don't have that many, but I'll show you what I got. But anyway, the power of the people. As most people know that are fans of the Young Justice and the Green Lantern animated series, they got canceled by Cartoon Network because they claimed that it wasn't making enough money, on the show or the toys, and really comes down to the toys. So they canceled it. Then they kept throwing rumors around oh, we never said we canceled it. We're not the bad guys. Whatever it is, and people, there was an outcry this is kind of messed up. We really enjoy the show. Why are you getting rid of it? You claim you have the DC Nation, where it's supposed to have all this DC stuff, yet you're taking away 2 of your top shows to fill it in with some, stuff that might not do as well. So, there's this website, I can't remember the name of it was, I was reading it today that my friend had told me about. He's like, yeah, check this out, man. I'm reading it, and it's a website that basically, what you do is you write into them, send them email, whatever it is, saying like, hey, this is a show that I really enjoyed. It got canceled. Is there anything you could do? And if they get enough people talking about it, they try to do something about it. They'll contact like the shows themselves, like the corporate areas, whatever it is, and they try to get answers. So that's what happened. This website got over 1 million people responding, saying we really want Young Justice back on the air. We really want Green Lantern back on the air. And they contacted Warner Brothers and said, hey, we have over 1 million people, 1 million emails. You guys should really reconsider. Warner Brothers turned around and told this website, we've had millions upon millions of people telling us that they're going to boycott DC products, Warner Brothers products, and not watch Cartoon Network unless we bring back Young Justice or whatever. He's like, nah. And they said to the website that they're currently in negotiations with Cartoon Network. They're going to have some kind of huge meeting the beginning or the middle of April to discuss the future of Young Justice and Green Lantern. That's awesome. So there's a possibility that they're going to bring back another season or more episodes in this season. So once again, man, it really does pay. Like, especially they said that they so many YouTube videos that were sent to them, saying you guys got to bring it back. So that's cool. That is really cool. It proves that, well, one, you don't piss off fans, I guess, because they can really turn around and kick your ass, and two, things count, man. Your opinion and voice counts. So it's cool. Another thing I want to discuss real fast, which was very interesting. It should all depends on, I guess, how you look at it in a way. Most people know by now that if you've watched my videos, I used to go to the comic stores all the time, but then they started pissing me off because they wouldn't have the issues, especially new issues that were coming out, and they would do shady shit. This is funny. Like I said, this is kind of interesting. A lot of people also know on here that I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. He's my favorite superhero, and I've been trying to. My quest is to fill up Amazing Spider-Man from Amazing Fantasy 15 to Amazing Spider-Man 700, all the annuals, which is funny because my friend's like, "Oh, you're gonna get the variants?" I'm like, you bastard! I was like, "You kill me!" I was like, "I don't want to," because he's like, you really can't have a full collection if there's variants out there you don't have. I'm like, oh man. So you know what? I'm rewriting my quest. It's because my friend's also, he's like, "You're never gonna get Amazing Fantasy 15." I was like, "You never know. You can get a really shit copy." I mean, I literally sold one without a cover, which sucks. But it had the backing and had which I wouldn't buy it. But if I got desperate enough, maybe. It didn't have the cover, and it was only I think it was like $800, which is a little steep, especially when it doesn't have a cover. But still, if I really got to the point where I'm like, I filled everything in, and I'm like, all I need is that, Granted, it's the money book, but it, no cover. It's a judgment call, I guess. But then I could always say, I have it, so I have my collection. Besides the point. I also think that I don't know if I inadvertently did it or it's Hippies Collectibles and I that did it. People are going crazy over Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man issues. That everyone's trying to buy them, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Glad I inspire people and people want to get my favorite superhero. But I think it was Fool Killer 5150 who said it, that Amazing Spider-Man stuff is like going through the roof, and it's totally true. There was an issue, Amazing Spider-Man number 359. I had when I got it when it came out in the 90s, and it was destroyed. It was one of the comics that the cover's gone, pages are missing, and I had written it down. I'm like, I got to get this one. I had to get it anyway because it's that one and two other issues in the 300s that I need to complete my 300 run. The later issues, I think like 399 and 398 I need or something like that, and then the 359. I'm like, all right, I'll look for it, and I went to a mock time a couple weeks ago, and it was $6. I'm like, $6, like insane for that. It's a 90s book, it shouldn't really be that high, and I don't even think it's worth that much money. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm paying that much money anyway. So I went this Sunday to look for a couple of reasons I'm going to get into, but I went looking for that same issue at a mock time, and now it's $12. So it doubled in less than a couple weeks. I'm like, the hell with it. I found it on Midtown. It was $1.50 for a near mint copy at Midtown. So I got that one. I ordered it. So I'm just like, wow, man. I was like, that's kind of messed up. So Midtown, like I said, has its points. Um, I found for $1.50, and I was like, it's just insane that other stores are for $12. Come on. But anyway, the real reason I was in there, and this is what I said, this is funny, is I had watched a video a couple days ago. Well, anyway, can't remember when I watched it, but it was Poet Skinny, and he was talking about like speculating in comics, which is says like a four-letter word for comic book collectors, which is kind of true, which I don't have really a problem with, but this is just kind of interesting. I walked in, my friend was asking me, a different friend than the one that was looking for Batman Inc. He's like, he loves the Red Hood and the Outlaws. He's like, I really love the series. Like I have 1 through 17. He's like, I couldn't get to the store to get 18. He's like, if you're gonna go, he's like, could you just check and maybe if they have it. He's like, don't go crazy. He's like, just can you check, see if your store has it. I'm like, yeah. I was like, but they're not gonna have it. He's like, well, you never know. He's like, because I checked the other comic stores, and I was like, well, I got it from Midtown. I was like, it was one per customer. I was like, so that right there says it's gonna be one of those ones that is gonna be a bitch to find. And I was like, but I'll look. I was like, I have no problem looking. I'm going there anyway. I went in there, and I was looking for Spidey's, obviously, but I was also looking for this book. And before I even went up to ask the guy, he was a new employee there. This kid, probably like his middle 20s, went up to ask already. He's like, excuse me, you have Red Hood and the Outlaws number 18? And right away, no, we sold out of that. So I was like, oh, there goes that. Now the funny part, like this is how you look at it, and how the Poet Skinner video kind of comes into play. This older guy, probably in like his middle 40s, turns around. He's like, yeah. He's like, good luck. And the kid's like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah. He's like, it's kind of funny how comic book stores. He's like, nowadays, he's like, you can't get new issues. He's like, you have enough problems getting back issues, but now you can't get new issues. And the kid's like, what do you mean? He's like, I was here when that book came out. He's like, the store didn't even open yet. He's like, I walk in, the second they open the doors, he's like, I was the first one in, and he goes, and they didn't have it. And he goes, they had none on the shelves, so they only had their pull list, that they filled the order for the pull people. And he's like, they had no extra copies. He's like, they didn't know when they were going to get a shipment in. You have to wait for the second printing. And he's like, yeah, he goes, it's a bunch of bullshit. He's like, this is ridiculous. And he goes, it's because, nowadays, he's like, same thing happened in the 90s. Everyone was trying to get rich off of these books. Everyone bought, which is, like I said, how this video, the Poet Skinny video comes into effect. He's like, back in the 90s, like, they had the Death of Superman. He's like, everyone was buying that book to get rich. He's like, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to buy, 5 copies of it. I'm going to, make millions of dollars. He goes, and some people actually lucked out. They sold it for $500 a book. People were buying it. He goes, it was nuts. Which I do remember, when it came out, I remember a week after it came out, comic book stores were selling $500 a piece. It was insane. But besides the thing, and he's like, it's people like that. He's like, that ruined the whole comic book thing. And, he's like, they're the reason I can't get my, Red Hood and the Outlaws number 18. He's like, I have to go on eBay and spend, $30 on a $4 book. He's like, it's a little insane. And this kid was kind of getting like, okay, relax, calm down. And this other guy was listening to it, and he kind of chimed in, which is probably the worst thing he could have done, because it's kind of set this guy off even more. He's like, oh, well, the least you can... He's like, what if you really want the book? He's like, just buy a trade paperback when it comes out. And the guy's like, that's what I'm freaking talking about. He's like, I don't want to have to get the trade paperback. He's like, I want to read the actual comic. I don't want to wait a month and 2 months, to get the damn, whatever it is. And he goes, and it's, it's people, he's like, I said, he's like, they come in and they buy like 5-8 copies of the same issue and then turn around and want to sell it. And he's like, it's a bunch of bullshit. And, and I was like, wow. And this guy was getting more and more pissed off. And, like, for me, I see the point. People go in, they buy it. But there really should be, like, a limit. Like I said, like, Midtown had a limit. You only able to get one. But there's definitely ways around that. But it does piss me off. And I know not every comic book store is like this. But I know all the ones in my area are. That I had said to the guy I was kind of talking to him a little bit. I was like, yeah, I agree. That they don't seem to get any extra issues in. Like, it's all, here's the pull list we have, this is what we're ordering, we're not ordering any extras, that's it. When the second printing comes out, it's funny because when the second printing comes out, they have tons of them. Like, they'll, like, for this thing, this they don't have, but when the second printing comes out, they'll have hundreds of these. They won't even be able to get rid of them, because they'll have so many second printings, which is stupid. To me, that's the stupidest thing. And then the guy had made the point, which I was talking about a long time ago too, He's like, yeah, he's like, the stores around here, he's like, they're ridiculous. I know they hold like 5 or 6 copies to the side that they could put on this rack and sell it. He's like, because they want to wait for it to go up and everyone in demand, and they turn around and sell it on eBay. He's like, and then they'll have it behind the counter for $60. He's like, you wait. He's like, next week they'll have Red Hood and the Outlaws number 18 behind the counter. It'll be $65. I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, I've seen it already. I was like, I know exactly what they do. So he's like, hey, he's like, it's just ridiculous, and I just can't stand that. It pisses me off, and the guy looked like he was gonna pass out from like blood pressure because, you know. But anyway, I just found it interesting that I watched the video and I was like, wow, man, it's just really interesting. Anyway, yeah, it's actually I haven't had a chance to read this one yet, but I'm gonna get to it. I did get a chance to read a lot of the others. I'm gonna do a review on them really quick. I'm trying not to make a really long video, and then show you my Silver Age stuff that I have for Silver for Venom Homer Lewis. Avengers number 8. It's the variant edition. It was kind of boring. It talks about this fire, whatever, Star Brand guy, whatever the hell he is. And they kind of show up and, they're like, oh, Captain America's like, relax, you were in an accident, we're trying to help you. And he's like, I didn't do anything. He's like, we didn't say you did, just relax. And the Hulk is kind of getting pissed off, and like he kind of blasts the Hulk by accident. And that kind of sets off a whole big, I'm going to kick your ass kind of thing. And the guy winds up on the moon. In the outer space, the guy hits the Hulk so hard he's in outer space. And, big kind of fight thing, which was kind of cool. But then it gets boring because then the kid disappears with this other guy, and he's explaining to him, like, what he has to do. And they wind up on Mars with that friggin' guy looks like Pyron from Darkstalkers with the one horn, discussing, like, how his children are back. And, I don't know. New Avengers number 4. Shows how I'm slipping my old age. I didn't even know that was Galactus until recently. I'm like, oh my god, he's on the cover. Basically, this whole thing is about the Illuminati, and they're trying to save the Earth because the Earth is getting destroyed or whatever it is. And they go to another parallel Earth, and Galactus is eating it at the time they go into it. And I was just like, alright. That was about it. Like I said, trying to go through this really quick. Nova number 2, freaking awesome. I like the first one. The second one was just as cool. Definitely worth getting. Has Rocket Raccoon in the beginning, and he kind of wakes up from his coma or whatever. He's like, oh my god, talking raccoon. And he's like, what'd you call me? He flips out, tries to shoot him. But it was a cool issue. Very, very cool. Superior Spider-Man number 6. This I'm going to get into because this was actually really, like I said, I've been enjoying these. The Massacre one I wasn't really too happy about because it's kind of like, but this was cool. Speedball and Jester and Speedball, whatever it is. They have like a web show where they humiliate people, and they tried to humiliate J. Jonah Jameson by pulling his pants down and hitting him in the face with a pie. So they're not really, I guess, vicious criminals, but they're kind of like, you get it. But anyway, J. Jonah Jameson contacts Spider-Man. He's like, you have to get these bastards, and he's like, what, because they humiliated you? And he's like, yes, they can't do that to me, whole big thing. And he's kind of like, no, I'm not messing with them. He's like, oh, you have to, you have to, whatever it is. But, Spider-Man he goes to, as Peter Parker goes to school and sees, like, these people picking on his teacher. And he remembers when he was bullied, that people would bully him with his glasses and call him fat. They took his glasses off and smashed his glasses. And, he kind of got pissed off, and he's like, I have to let it go, whatever it is. And, when he finds these little bastards, they hit him in the face with like this ink or paint or whatever it is, and he rips off his spider lenses or whatever they are, and puts them, kind of drops them, and Jester steps on them. So right away he remembers as as Dr. Octopus, like, he's there, he kind of goes into a rage, pulls out his spider claws or whatever it is, and just starts slashing away. And it's crazy because the one panel before it, the Avengers are like, we have to get rid of Spider-Man. He's kind of gotten crazy a little bit. And Wolverine kind of defends him. He's like, a lot of us have blood on our hands. Spider-Man's kind of going through a rough time, it seems. Why are we going to hold him to a higher standard, than the rest of us? We should give him a chance. And they're kind of like, all right, we'll give him a chance, whatever it is. And then they see this video of him slashing away. And Wolverine's like, kind of puts his head down, like, I just defended this guy. This guy is going insane and going, like, gutting these people. And Captain America's like, we have to bring him in, that it's done, and Wolverine's like, you're right. And Peter Parker's essence shows up. He's like, "What are you doing, Doc? What are you doing? You know, you can't be doing that." And he pulls away, and he's got blood like all over his face. He's got it coming down his hands, and the two of them are just like destroyed, like they're shredded. And the guy's like, "I guess people can't take some people can't take a joke," and he just gets even more pissed off. Like he was getting around. I'm like, holy shit! But it was really really cool. Deadpool #6 wasn't too bad. It wasn't as funny as the other ones. I mean, the first 5 are actually pretty interesting and funny. He fights George Washington, and wasn't that great. Wasn't bad, but it wasn't as, like I said, it wasn't as funny as the other ones. All new X-Men #9 freaking rocked. I loved it. I love this series. It shows the old school X-Men in the Danger Room, the newer Danger Room. Because the old school X-Men, if you're a fan of X-Men, you've noticed like their Danger Room was like, you fly through hoops, you jump over a ball, stupid stuff. Now you throw them into the Danger Room that they have now with the holograms and the robotics and all that crap, and they're like overwhelmed. They're just like, "Oh, this isn't real. This is a Danger Room. We're not really in New York." And Kitty Pryde sets up a thing with the Sentinels, and they get their ass kicked, flat out kicked, and she's kind of like, this is what you're up against. This is the kind of stuff you're gonna have to deal with, and I'm trying to prepare you for. And it was just really, really cool. It was just an awesome issue. Loved it. Savage Wolverine #3 was kind of funny. They had this guy in there. I can't remember what the hell his name is, but the natives think he's a god, and the chief gives him like all these women. He's like, "These are women for you," and he's like staring at their boobs, and he's like, "You don't like girls?" He's like, "No, no, I love girls. I just don't have time right now." And Shauna the She-Devil, I think that's what she's called. Spoiler alert, gets killed, but they're trying to save her or whatever it is, and Wolverine kind of snaps. So pretty cool. That guy Cho, like I said, really knows how to draw the ladies. Very very cool. Extermination, Part 1. Cool cover, but the book was kind of confusing in a way, and it was kind of like, the evil Nightcrawler is trying to get back to his home dimension, and he enlists the Dark Beast to do it, and they find this like the celestial thing that kind of like a giant sentinel, but it exists in all multiverses and stuff like that. And Wolverine's like, when we find Nightcrawler, we're gonna kill him, and he's like, he's not our friend. He's kill people, blah blah blah. He's gotta be held responsible, and they wind up going into the other dimension where the other X-Men are, and Nightcrawler finds out that the X-Men are killed in that dimension. He's like, why are they all gone, But it was, interested to see, I guess, how #2 will go, because I ordered it already, so I guess we'll see. Captain America #5. Pretty cool. This one is apparently the daughter of Zola, and she's flipping out trying to kill Captain America because she thinks he killed her brother, which is the little kid. And she finds out that he's not dead, and Captain America actually has been taking care of the kid. And she's like, why'd you tell me he's dead? And he's like, I didn't know. Captain Zola's like, I didn't know, or Arnold Zola, whatever the hell he's called, Zola. And Captain America kind of gets beaten a little bit, and he's kind of like, I was so close. We were so close to getting home, and we were right there, and all this stuff. And then the Zola construct that's in his chest is like, I'm gonna control you soon enough. And I guess Captain America, everyone's got their breaking point, picks up a piece of metal and just stabs himself in the chest. That's the WTF moment right there, and cuts it out. And I'm like, oh man. And it just shows how Captain America is awesome, because not only does he cut this thing out of his chest, but he just kind of stands up. He's like, I'm coming for you. He's like, I don't care if I die. I don't, I'm coming to get this kid back, and I'm gonna kick your ass. And I'm like, awesome, very cool. All right, moving on to my Silver Age comics that Venom Homer Lewis had asked to show. Like I said, I don't have that many. And he wanted reviews on them, which some of them I really don't remember a lot of in it, because I haven't read them for a really long time. But I'll show you. X-Men #12, not 12. X-Men #19 is the oldest X-Men I have. It's 1966, the first appearance of Mimic. It is in Mylar. Sorry for the glare. I'm trying to, yeah. Anyway, this is in really rough shape. I'd probably put it in maybe a good minus. When I had gotten it, I got it from eBay. And, actually, I'll show you. The guy had listed it as find a very fine copy, and it was a buy it now. And I had looked at it. I'm like, oh, he's like, this is the actual scan of the comic, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, it's in great shape. It's cool. I'll get it. It was $20. So I'm like, oh, that ain't bad. I was like, in very fine condition. I was like, that isn't bad at all. I was like, for $20, like, that's a great deal. And it was like $5 shipping. So I was like, yeah. So I bought it. When it came to me, it was not very fine. As you can tell, well, you might not be able to see it in here. It's got a huge fold going across here. There's a lot of spine wear. And there's, the cover isn't too bad, considering, like I said, it's from the 60s. And it's intact, and I'm like, all right, not bad. But the bitch part is I opened it up, and it's missing an entire page. As you can see, it was cut out. Here's a flap to it. They cut out whatever advertisement was in there. So, and the funny part is, I look on the back of the board. He actually wrote it on there. Qualified good to very good, $20. Half ad page cut out, but story complete. He had wrote on there. So this guy kind of BS'd me, claiming that it was very fine, to very fine condition, when it obviously is not. It's missing, the page. It's missing its Marvel stamp or whatever the hell was in there. So I was a little pissed. I contacted the guy. I was like, you're full of shit. You're telling me this is. I was like, and it even says on the back. I even sent him a photo on the back that, this the copy. So he sends me a thing right away, stating, he's like, oh, I sent you the wrong copy, and I'm very sorry. I gave you the wrong one. This was the one I was selling cheaper or some crap like that. And he's like, I will definitely send you, if you send me the copy back, well, first, I'll send you the very fine copy, and then you can just send me the good copy back, and we'll call it even, whatever. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, give me the. He's like, and I'll pay for, the shipping and everything. I want to make it good. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And so I was like, no problem. He's like, so expect me to send this, the better copy in the mail. Really, like give me a week or something like that. I'm like, no problem. So I waited and waited and waited. Never got, the copy. Never got any word for him. Went on to contact him again. Gone. Apparently he up and left eBay or whatever it is. So I got stuck with a good to very good, he claims, copy of X-Men number 19, which is the first appearance of Mimic. So I never did get the very fine copy. I guess down the line. Like they say, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. And in this case it was. The guy was full of shit. Oh, I gotta crack my back, sorry. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Back's been bothering me lately. But in this issue, it's basically, I said, first appearance of Mimic. He joins the X-Men, and they're kind of pissed off at him because he's, copying all their powers. Like, what good is this guy? He can only copy what we do, and whole big thing. And then he kind of gets annoyed and starts fighting them. He's like, I'll show you that I'm better than you, and basically it. So that's the only X-Men comic I have that's Silver Age. The rest are basically all Amazing Spider-Mans. This I just recently got, Amazing Spider-Man number 37. It's the oldest Amazing Spider-Man I have. It's the first appearance of Norman Osborn. Which I'm not going to lie, I did not get a chance to read this yet. I had gotten it and I filed it away really quickly. So, really can't tell you much about that one. But Amazing Spider-Man number 39, which is the first John Romita artwork on Spidey. And it's the first time that the Green Goblin is revealed to be Norman Osborn, as well as Spider-Man is revealed to be Peter Parker and Norman Osborn. Cool story, awesome fight. Like I said, he finds out the Goblin. Well, Goblin finds out he's Peter Parker, unmasks him, and obviously, kind of takes him for a ride. And Spider-Man finds out that he's Norman Osborn. It's his best friend's dad. So, if you ever see the Amazing Spider-Man from the '90s cartoon where they had that, same thing. Moving on. These I really don't remember. Well, actually, no, this one I do. Amazing Spider-Man number 41, first appearance of the Rhino, 1966. Enough said. So you're gonna it's first. Turns in, Rhino shows up, runs over Spider-Man. So I don't really remember the entire thing on these because I haven't read them in a long time. Amazing Spider-Man 56. Spidey joins Doc Ock. Again, I don't really remember everything that happens in these. Number 63, Two Vultures. And last but not least, number 66, Mysterio. Very, very cool. like I said, I would give you a review on them, but I haven't read them in so long I couldn't tell you. But that's the stuff. It's a review. The stuff I talked about, my Silver Age stuff that I have. Um, I know, like, how do you only have that Silver Age? That's all you got. I'm like, well, that's all I got. My collection is mostly 70s and 80s, late 70s, 72 and up. Uh, but Silver Age is usually it's from 54 to 71, so there you go. But anyway, if you like what we see, please hit the like button. If you really like what we see, subscribe, comment, question, go nuts. I had gotten a question recently from an anonymous person, I guess, which could be a family member, because I know a lot of people, a lot of my family, they said they watch the videos and they'll put comments and stuff like that, but they don't have a channel, so it comes up as anonymous, I guess, no thing. But they had asked, it's kind of crazy, but you know what, I'll see what I can do. It said, Loki, we watched your video with your favorite superheroes and villains, and we enjoyed it. It was really cool. Could you possibly make another one, except this time, this is what we would like to see. And this is where it gets crazy. I wrote it all down because there was a lot. We'd like to see your 5 favorite Marvel mutant heroes, your 5 favorite Marvel mutant girl heroes, your 5 favorite Marvel heroes, your 5 favorite Marvel girl heroes, so I guess like non-mutant, your 5 favorite Marvel mutant villains, your 5 favorite Marvel mutant villain girls, your 5 favorite Marvel villains, your 5 favorite Marvel villain girls. Then it was your 5 favorite DC heroes, your 5 favorite DC hero girls, your 5 favorite DC villains, and your 5 favorite DC girl villains. Number 5 being one of your favorites, but 5 to 1, one being your favorite hero or villain. So good lord. And the other thing is, I had sent a comment saying like, oh, no big deal. I wrote them all down. I'll make a video and talk about them. I got the comment, the PM message back. No, we really want to see a video just like the one you had with your comic villains and heroes. With the pictures of the person, the character, and music to it. That was really cool. Can you do it that way? Yeah, I could do it that way. It's just gonna take some time because that is a lot of work. But so look forward to that if you want to see stuff like that. It's coming around. And one other thing was what was it? I'm gonna be making another video, not shortly, but I'm working on it now. It's basically gonna be a reference video. Because a lot of people ask me about stuff that I've already done, which I don't mind doing, but sometimes it's just easier to direct you to a video that I've done. Plus, it gets more views on that video anyway. Excellent. So it's going to basically be, like I said, I'm working on it as a review video. It's going to tell you every video I've ever done and briefly what's in there. I'm not going to go into detail. I'll be like, Cracka Season 1, Episode 27 is my 1980s cartoons intros. If you like that stuff, check it out. So it's going to be like that. I'll be like, number 21 is this, number 22 is that, or whatever. So when everybody ever asks, like, oh, do you ever do a video on this? Can you do one with this or that? If it's not like an update, like if I haven't really done much with that collection of something or whatever it is, I'll just be like, check out Cracka Season 3, Episode this, and it'll give you an info on all the stuff. So yeah, there's that. And welcome back, Hippies Collectibles. Good guy. Good job destroying your family's internet. The Troll Buster is back. But anyway, it's not the size of your man cave that matters. It's what you have in it. And I have a lot of stuff in it that I'm very proud to have. And I'm going to go oogle over it. So, later.